1, 2, 3, and 4.
My name is Geraldine Harris. So I teach at the Libby Center, which is a multi-purpose building that houses a couple of different school programs. And I teach general music to those classes. Each class has 25 kids. And prior to that, I taught younger students in kind of a mentoring program through the Youth Symphony. And then, always was a camp counselor of some kind. So I think that's how I kind of got started. And then I had just really great music teachers, like my school orchestra teacher and my private piano teacher were the two people that pretty much got me through, growing up through music. And I just saw them, once a week or every day, depending on the situation. And they were such good role models, and they really, just helped me learn how to be a person. And I wanted to do that too.
Everybody play the whole thing together. It's forte on the first line. What is it on the second line?
Piano.
Piano. Oh gosh. Okay. 1. Oh, check your bow placement. We need a forte bow placement with full traction. Angle that stick toward the scroll. Not quite so much, Ethan. Ready? Go.
Yeah, I mean, my piano lessons were partly piano and partly therapy. I feel like I was paying, to learn how to improve at the piano, but through the conversations that I had with my piano teacher, I learned a lot about myself and how to problem solve. With my orchestra teacher at school, I had him from 5th grade until 12th grade. So he knew me from age 10 to age 18, and that's such a huge time period to be becoming a person. And he was just one of the best people that I knew at that point, and I wanted to be like him. And he made a home for us in the orchestra room. Well, I think I'm a good teacher because I love teaching. I love the art of taking something that a student doesn't know how to do and making it accessible for them, and that's different for every student. Every student is their own little puzzle for me to figure out how they learn and how they get motivated and how they experience struggle and success. And I think the fact that I'm interested in that process is what makes me a good teacher. I have learned a lot from listening to what kids really feel about things. Sometimes as a teacher you think this lesson's gonna be so cool and they're gonna love it and it's gonna be so in line with what they're interested in, and then you learn that might have been true for you when you were 12, and then what 12-year-olds are into now is something totally different. And you don't know if they've eaten well or if they've slept well, if they had a fight at home, if home is unstable, or if there's social stuff or they're tired. I mean, there's all these variables that I have no control over. All I can control is the environment in my classroom and the experience that the kids have for those 57 minutes. And I suppose the challenge is also remembering how important it is that I do control those 57 minutes, and that the experience they have during that time can be the thing that helps them work through those things that I can't control. But I'm only one person, and they have their parents and their, every other adult in their life giving them unsolicited advice just the way that I am. So, I also have to zoom out and see that my voice isn't the only voice that they're hearing. Even just yesterday, the 8th graders were signing up for high school classes, and we had a pretty good conversation, have had some pretty good conversations over the past couple of weeks about how do you choose classes for high school, and that they have all these things they feel they need to do, they need to take AP classes, and they need to do, all the shiny things like Lego robotics and medical detectives and biomed classes and all these things that do sound really great, but they're making the choice to either do music or to do that thing. And they have all these other stresses on them that they're gifted students, so they should take more AP classes, and the counselors at the high schools want them to, because then those classes get filled up. and that's a whole, money thing. But it's like they don't see that they're little chess pieces being moved around, and that they could flip the whole board if they wanted to, but they don't know that they have that power. I mean, at the beginning, you don't know what you don't know until it hits you in the face, and you're like, wow, I don't know that. So there were moments like that. I think the times that I have felt the least successful is when a student decides not to keep playing. And it's really hard for me to not take that personally. And I think most music teachers, it's just hard to hear a kid say that they're not going to play anymore, because we, as musicians, we know how much life and so how many good experiences come from being a musician, and that all the cool places that I've traveled and all of the closest friends that I have and the coolest experiences that I've had have come directly through being a musician. And so when a 12-year-old says, well, that's just not for me, it's really hard to take that, because they don't have the perspective, and that's not their fault. They just can't see what they're choosing to let go of. And so I always feel just terrible when a kid chooses not to continue. And I know that I shouldn't necessarily measure my success on whether a kid keeps playing or not, but it sure feels really good when they take it all the way. And they get to see, when they basically get to have the amazing kind of life.
Mark that. Mark it. Pencil.